BNI people around, and so anything they plan, they hear. We know the extent of the threat. We have to take measures to make sure that they don't occur.
We're live in Kumasi for updates on that extraordinary ECOWAS summit underway in Accra to find solution to the political crisis in Guinea. We're live.
Last week, we met, albeit virtually, with our deliberations centering on the happenings in Guinea and Mali. We're met today for further urgent deliberations on events in those two countries.
This afternoon, strong push to break monopoly of West African Exams Council as a sole test administrator for the Ghana Education Service following perennial cases of question leakages.
Bringing in some competition, inviting other international assessors to come and compete with WAEC within the public space is one of the ways that we can get WAEC to be on their toes and be more serious about question security.
And also, all major roads washed away by flash floods in Upper West Region temporarily fixed and open to traffic. I'll give you updates on that in sports.
Seasoned football pundit Carl Tufo says he's uncomfortable with the return of Milovan Rajvac as head coach of the Black Stars ahead of the big announcement by the Ghana Football Association. Details in 20 minutes.
And later in showbiz, how some of Ghana's top musicians deal with cyberbullying.
It's more of my own mental battle than thinking about what's happening around me.
Like right now, you should be used to it. I should term it as occupational hazard.
Social media, like the elderly, some of us are victims.
We'll hear from strongman Jackie and Mr. Drew later on in showbiz. That and more coming up in this edition of the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. Thanks for choosing us. Details shortly. Many thanks for your company. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. This afternoon, there's heavy security presence at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, where the Ashanti Regional Security Council says intelligence picked up reviews there's a plot by the students to engage in disturbances at the end of examinations tomorrow. The school has in the last few years made the news for various violent acts on campus, including rioting in 2018 that led to destruction of school property and dissolution of the school's governing council. RegSec issued a statement in which it has ordered students to leave the school within 24 hours after writing that exams. My colleague Joseph Akable joins me in studio with details of that statement issued by the regional minister. Joseph, walk us through that statement.
And so portions of it reads, intelligence gathered by the security services revealed that some groups of unruly students are planning some disturbances on campus on the eve of vacation, that is 17 September 2021. It is instructive to remind the student population that the declaration of the university campus as a security zone in November 2018 is still in force, and therefore it is an offense to demonstrate within the security zone. And so it goes on to outline a series of measures, including the fact that only foreign students and students permitted by the management to stay, all students are to leave Care University campus by midday on 18 September 2020.
Well, thank you very much, Joseph Akable. That's a statement signed by the regional minister, Simon Osemens. I'll take you live to the campus now, where Ohiming Terrier of our security desk is on the beat for us. Ohiming, so tell us about the situation on the ground.
Thank you, MFA. Currently, students are writing their end of semester exams. But while students go about their normal duties on campus, there's heavy security presence here. I can see the FPU vehicle, armored vehicle, parked in front of the Prempeh II Library. And then there's also police personnel patrolling the halls of residence of the students, and the presence of national security and BNI officials as well. Boosting these activities is also the university's own security men here. They are supporting the external security officers to provide security on campus, MFA.
Well, so you confirmed the presence of police as put in the statement out there, but beyond the heavy presence of police, are there other measures or plans also in place by the university authorities to avert the situation?
Yes, the URO, Dr. Norris Bequin, did mention that the university will continue with this arrangement till students finish their end of semester exams on Friday. And beyond Friday, the number of security presence on campus will also increase because they've had that arrangement with RegSec So what is happening is that immediately students finish with their end of semester exams, they are required to leave campus, except foreign students and students who are working on their project defense. That is what the university says will be allowed to stay on campus. And even when they are done, they will have to leave a campus. So all these students also need permission of school university authorities before they will be allowed to stay on campus.
The Regional Security Council and management of KNUST have picked up some signal that some students, mainly supporters of those who have affiliation with the two major rival halls, Unity and Katanga, are planning to cause some mayhem. Simply, they intend to fight. And because of what happened in 2018, this university has been declared as a security zone. The security zone means that you cannot do demonstration, people cannot gather and do anything which is aside or outside academic work. The students actually don't have any business staying around. So the Regional Security Council, based on the intelligence that they have picked up, have directed that right after examination, the students should vacate the campus. There will be police presence or security presence on campus. We have also strengthened our own internal security. They will be deployed at all vantage points, including off-campus hostels, to make sure that life and property is protected.
That's the University Relations Officer, the KNUST, Dr. Norris Bekwe. Now, Heming, just before I let you off, let's talk about the reaction of the Student Representative Council and the students in general on this particular development.
Yes, for the SRC, they support the decision of university authorities to work with RESEC to increase and beef up security on campus. I spoke to the Vice President of the Student Representative Council, Maurice Efa, who says the SRC will support this call. And for them, they haven't received any information from students indicating that they feel uncomfortable on campus with the presence of the security. And he says it's something that they have coped with since 2018. So for students, they are okay with this arrangement.
Well, that's my colleague Ohiming Teria of our security desk reporting from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, where there's armed security deployment at the school following a RESEC directive for all students to leave the school right after their exams tomorrow. I'll bring you back to the capital, Accra now, where President Akufo-Addo says he hopes ECOWAS will take a decisive stance on the political crisis in Guinea after receiving a report on the situation from the Council of Ministers who have visited the country and met the deposed president and the new military leadership. President Akufo-Addo, who chairs the regional bloc, opened the extraordinary summit a while ago and said the decisions to be taken will have far-reaching outcomes for the stability of the sub-region.
We reiterated our condemnation, suspended Guinea forthwith from membership of our organization, and decided to establish immediately to Guinea a high-level ECOWAS mission composed of the chairperson of the Council of States, the Ghanaian Foreign Minister, the Honorable Shirley Ayoko Boutre, the President of the ECOWAS Commission, His Excellency Jean-Claude Brou, the Foreign Minister of Burkina Faso, the Honorable Alpha Bari, and the Foreign Minister of Togo, the Honorable Robert Dussey, to assess the situation in that country and report back to us. The delegation went to Guinea on Friday, the 10th of September, met the military leaders, and saw President Alpha Condé in his place of detention. They have made a report to us, which will be the basis of our deliberations at this emergency summit on Guinea. We will receive also a report from the mediator of the Malian crisis, His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan, the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, on developments in Mali. We are required to take informed decisions on these matters that will have long-term consequences for the stability and the defense of the democratic values of our region. I count on you, Excellencies, to help proffer durable solutions to the crisis. And I'm confident that, as in the past, we will rise to the occasion.
President Kufuor there opening the extraordinary summit a while ago. Well, the meeting, we're told, will decide a roadmap to return the country to constitutional rule. That's Guinea. Well, my presidential affairs correspondent Elton Brobe is there for joining us. He joins us live. Elton, do we know what exactly is contained in the Shelley Ayoko-Botry Committee report?
So we don't have it in its entirety, but we've managed to get understanding of what exactly is contained in this committee's report, which is going to form the basis for the deliberation, so we can come up with a communique. Now, what I've picked from sources close to Ghana's foreign minister is that when they met the military leader in Guinea, Mamadi Daboya, he made it clear that even as ECOWAS is holding this meeting in Accra, he's also holding a 4-day conference, which is starting today, to prepare a transition back to civilian or democratic rule. And he's already had meetings with civil society groups, political parties, diplomats who are serving in Guinea. And he has an understanding what the Guinean people want. So this 4-day conference, which is starting today, is going to open the floor for any person to come up and then tell them how they want the country to be governed going forward. Secondly, they are also looking at amending the constitution to return the country back to the 2-term presidential time limit, which was amended and allowed Alpha Conde the opportunity to go through another election. They want to return it to the 2-term time limit. So until these matters are done, it will be difficult on their part to give a timeline as to which time they hope to return the country to civilian rule. This is what I think from the report that Ghana's foreign minister is expected to put before member states representing in this ECOWAS extraordinary summit.
Okay, that's Presidential Affairs correspondent Elton Brobe there, bringing us up to speed on that extraordinary summit currently ongoing here in Accra. Let me bring in Dr. Ken Ahos, who is a senior research fellow and lecturer at the Legon Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy. We're grateful for your time here on the Midday News. So the ECOWAS, as we have it now, do you think that they have the requisite boldness to change what's happening in Guinea?
Well, I don't think we have to qualify it as the requisite boldness. They have institutional power to which Guinea is a signatory. If this has happened in Ghana, Guinea will be in the same situation as Ghana is now. So it's not an individual boldness or so to say. What I think is the issue is that so far, ECOWAS has been doing very well. The other time they met in Accra, before they dismissed Guinea from the organization, they actually spoke to the authorities in Guinea. In the meeting that is ongoing now, there was a high-power delegation that was sent to Guinea, and they discussed issues with them that ECOWAS finds itself in a dilemma. One can be empathetic to what happened in Guinea, but at the same time, ECOWAS cannot play double standards. It has happened in other countries in the South region, and they were dismissed. I think what is going to happen now is they are going to give them a work plan or a roadmap on how to return the country to constitutional rule. And I think the basic one is that they should form a transitional government that is headed by a civilian. Then within some amount of time, the doors will be open for multi-party elections, and that will be carried out. So I think this is what is being discussed presently. The issues will be the timeline, because as Guinea is at the moment, it appears the judiciary has been compromised. It appears the military itself, being the leader of the junta, has been compromised. The police has been compromised. The civil service, to a large extent, has been compromised.
Okay, well, that's Dr. Ken Ahosu, the Senior Research Fellow and Lecturer at the Legon Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy. We're grateful for your time. Meanwhile, following the backlash received by ECOWAS after the Guinea coup for failing to take proactive measures, Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister Shirley Ayoko-Botry has disclosed that extensive engagement took place between the ECOWAS and the now ousted Guinean President Alpha Conde on some of the decisions he took before the September 5 coup d'etat.
Let me state here that ECOWAS, all ECOWAS countries, 15 of us, have signed on to the protocol on democracy and good governance. That in itself is a commitment to ensure that we all stick to democracy, constitutional rule, and good governance. However, as we all know, some heads of state have veered from this, the charter, and have gone for third-term bids. And President Alpha Conde is one such. Let me state that when something like this happens, let us not assume that behind the scenes, there is nothing happening. There's a lot of engagement that goes on.
That's Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister Shirley Ayoko-Botry. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. And this afternoon, there's a strong push by players within the educational space to break the monopoly enjoyed by the West African Examinations Council, WAEC, as the sole test administrator for the Ghana Education Service. Now, this follows the numerous cases of question leakage recorded by the exams body every year. On Wednesday, WAEC rescheduled 2 papers in the ongoing WASI after it confirmed certain aspects of the mathematics and English papers had leaked. Already, 2 teachers have been arrested at the Ahamanso Islamic Senior High School for attempting to leak Monday's English language paper. OT regional correspondent Peter Senu joins us with details of that arrest. Peter, bring us up to speed on this particular development.
What we know is that 2 teachers at the Ahamanso Islamic Senior High School, one Musa Muhammad, a mathematics teacher, and then one Felix Oklu, 32, who is the English teacher. In fact, the mathematics teacher, Musa Muhammad, was scheduled for supervision, invigilation on Monday. And so his accomplice, Oklu Felix, asked him to take pictures of the exam paper when they start and send to him. And so it was in the process that the external invigilator from WAEC, in the name of Ephraim Nupati, saw him and then made the police pick him up. And so those are the fine details we know. But yesterday they were arraigned before court, for which Musa pleaded guilty to his offense of taking the pictures, and so was sentenced to 65 point unit Ghana cedi wise, 780 Ghana cedis. He's supposed to pay that fine and, as it were, go free. But Felix Oklu has denied any knowledge and involvement in that, and so he is to reappear before the court on the 11th of October. So
that's the LT regional correspondent Peter Senu there, where the Education Minister, Dr. Yahweh Duchum, says government is working to introduce a serialized test system to check the leakages.
All these things are happening because WAEC has enjoyed a 50-plus year comfort zone.
President of the Republic in the State of the Nation address told me as the Minister for Education to do whatever is within our authority to ensure that we stamp out exam malpractice, whether perceived or real. And that is what we have begun discussion with WAEC about. We are even talking about serialization, which means there can be about 5 to 10 versions of the same test. So if somebody creates a rogue website and says this question has leaked, there are about 10 versions. How do you know that question is even going to be in your school? Or even if it comes to your school, how do you even know that that will be the question that you're going to be answering? So we are talking to WAEC about a number of things.
Well, the Africa Education Watch says other international test administrators must be introduced to break the monopoly enjoyed by WAEC. Kofi Asare is executive director.
All these things are happening because WAEC has enjoyed a 50-plus year comfort zone romance with the government of Ghana. In other countries like Nigeria, WAEC has not got a monopoly. And so having a monopoly, a monopolistic relationship obviously will lead to a comfort zone.
Well, that's Africa Education Watch Executive Director Kofi Asare. Let's bring in the ranking member on the Education Committee in Parliament, Peter Nochukutoy. We're grateful for your time here on the Midday News. You must agree with Africa Education Watch when they say WAEC's performance requires the introduction of competition, no?
Yeah, thank you very much. I am of the view for now that demonopolizing WAEC immediately will not help the country. What we need to do is to rather find out how we can support WAEC to overcome these challenges. I indicated somewhere that WAEC must open up to the public, the persons or stakeholders, so that we can help them overcome these problems. Demonopolizing, fine. But in the interim, I feel it will not order well for us, because are we going to engage international examination bodies, or they're going to create local examination bodies? So that must take a very long time to discuss and then conclude it. So for now, I think that WAEC will only have to wake up. Minister of Education must support them. Let us know the challenges that they are facing and how best we can help them solve the problems.
Serialization of this test system will be the way to go also?
It is only one way. I agree with the minister that we can serialize the questions. But we live in a situation or an environment where if the questions are serialized, one school may accuse the WAEC of giving easier questions to another school. That is the fear I have, because it will be a new thing and people will not think that there's a standardization of the questions. Yeah. So my suggestion to WAEC when we met was that when you do your investigations, name and shame the culprits so that they can deter others from engaging in such activities.
Thank you very much for your time. That's the ranking member on the Education Committee of Parliament, Peter Nochukutoy. The Midday News will take a quick break live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi and a number of affiliates across the country. Our top stories so far: Ashanti Regional Security Council deploys armed security to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, where it says it has uncovered a plot by rival student groups to unleash violence on the scale of what was witnessed in the 2018 vandalism there. When we return, we have sports, and then in showbiz, how some of Ghana's top musicians deal with cyberbullying.
It's more of my own mental battle than thinking about what's happening around me.
Like right now, you should be used to it. I should term it as occupational hazard.
Social media like it with the elderly. Some of us are victims of our own goodness and can see them in
This bulletin is live in the Volta region on Jubilee Radio Keta, Volta Premier and Kekali Radio in Ho, Lolonyo FM in Hohoi, Pando FM in Pando, Fafa Radio in Joje, Radio Hogba in Angloga, Klenam Radio Bato, Victory FM Aplao. In the Eastern region, we're on K-Poly Radio in Kofrodia. In the Northern region, we're on Bishara Radio, Radio 123 and Radio Justice in Tamale. And in Savannah region, we're on Inkelege FM in Bole. In the Upper East region, we're live on A1 Radio and Dreams FM in Bogatanga and Radio Fumbese in Fumbese. In Upper West, we're live on Radio Sonmale in Wa, Radio Freed in Nandom, Radio Wa in Wa, and Bolu FM in Bolu. In the Bono East region, we're on Gaskia FM in Techiman. In Bono region, we're on Sky FM and Parrot FM in Sunyai. Central region, we're live on ATL FM in Cape Coast. And in the Western region, we're on Radio Max in Takrady.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Let's do sports. Nathaniel Atto, what do we have?
Well, there's the expected announcement of Milovan Rajevac as the coach of the Black Stars. He makes a return after 11 years. Now, there are many debates about whether or not he could succeed in this role, returning to the saddle as Black Stars coach. Now, seasoned football analyst Carl Tufo says he's uncomfortable with the second coming of Milovan Rajevac. He explains.
Very, very risky. There's a saying within the football fraternity that you never go back to a place where you've had so much success, because the pendulum has been raised to a certain level.
Okay.
Anything below that means that you're in trouble. So if you take a look at it, millions of coaches around the world over the past 60, 70 years do not make it a habit of going back. One or two have done, and it has turned out very bad. So there's that record there. So one, I'll be highly surprised if Rajevac, who is a European, would come back and accept to come back.
Carl Tufo is a seasoned football analyst and an ex-editor of Joy Sports. Well, that's it for your sport. And later today, Accra Hearts of Oak will be unveiling the new jersey for the new kit for the season.
Wow. And our very own Mama V is
yes,
hosting.
she'll be in the thick of the action.
And I can't wait for that. And then later today also, we have the state of play. We're talking about a coach, Siki Akuno, and government interference, amongst others. The politically incorrect group. We'll be talking about it.
I'll be looking forward to that.
It's at 2:30 p.m. on all our social media platforms. I'll take you to the Upper West region now, where all major roads in the region that were washed by flash floods had been temporarily fixed. 8 out of 11 municipalities and districts in the region were cut off from the regional capital as a result of the flood. There's more in this report.
After the August 12th torrential rains in the region, the bituminous surface on a section of the road caved in and washed away by the high intensity of a rain that has not been witnessed in the region for years. A familiar contractor and face, Mawuns Limited, was called into action. Within 3 weeks of intensive work, it has now been fixed and open to traffic. Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Sali commended Mawuns Limited for the seriousness attached to the job, which has ameliorated the sufferings of the people.
I was here a few weeks ago, and coming to see this amount of work done within this short period of time gives me great joy.
That's the Upper West Regional Minister Hafiz bin Sali, doctor, there, ending Rafiq Salam's report. And have you ever thought of an opportunity to rent and own your own house with flexible payment terms, which will allow you spread the remainder of the cost for many years? Well, patrons of this year's first mini clinic of the Joy News EcoBank Habitat Fair were amazed by the many amazing offers that were made available at the Achimotimo last weekend. Well, another mini clinic is coming off this weekend, this time at the West Hill Mall. But one of our exhibitors, Planned Cities Extension Project, Cities and Habitat, has that on offer and is giving you the chance to rent and own a house. Listen.
We have 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, we have flat for them, we have detached houses, semi-detached houses, and all our detached houses are expandable. So we actually give you about 25 years to pay. We also have an installment package to hit the 20% to move into the house. Because it's not everybody who has the capacity to pay the 20% upfront. We have an installment package. You take your time, pay. When you hit the 20%, then we give you the key to your building.
So remember, this year's main fair is on the theme home ownership, to build or to buy. It will happen from the 27th to the 31st of October 2021. But please catch the mini clinic this weekend at the West Hills Mall. Time for showbiz. We're talking cyberbullying, right?
Yes, MFR. So cyberbullying remains an issue of concern to many. Sometimes musicians come under intense attack from social media users. Musicians Strongman, Sina Soul, Jackie and Mr. Drew have been speaking on how they handle this. Listen.
Voice of the voiceless. Social media and so you're reckless.
Well, Strongman says he simply ignores such comments.
I don't reply, I don't block, I don't do anything. Like right now, you should be used to it. I should term it as occupational hazard.
For singer Sina Soul, she does not respond and focuses on her work.
It's more of my own mental battle than thinking about what's happening around me, so I just focus on mine. Okay.
Blocking people who make such comments is an option for Mr. Drew.
I think that I handle it pretty well. Like, if they are very, very deep, I'll just restrict you on my Instagram.
Songbird Jackie, however, believes every entertainer is bound to be trolled.
Trolls, critics,
is part of the music perspective.
Social media like it with the elderly. Stupidity very age. Some of us are victims of our own goodness. And can see them
Well, that should be all for showbiz here.
And we're hoping that the police would take note of cyberbullying and punish those who ought to be punished.
Hopefully they will get them. I'm not too sure it will work, but I mean, however it is.
Thank you very much, Becky, for showbiz. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. But of course, there are more stories on myjoyonline.com that you can read for yourself. I've not demanded 2K and 5K from district assemblies for my father's funeral. That's according to the Western Regional Minister. So-called experts who told voters to ignore statistics in 2016, now in government holding up economic figures. That's according to former President Mahama. WAEC reschedules physics and business management papers amid concerns about WASI paper leaks. Of course, we've also been speaking to the communications director at the presidency on the announcement of MMDCs. That and more on myjoyonline.com. Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil is up next from generation to generation. I am MFA Pau. Thanks for your company.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home, shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is, where the passion is, where the laughter is, and sometimes even the tears too. Let's go where we feel safe enough to share our opinions
and send tweets,
where we do that